right, everybody. Aaron Fregnito here with the Passive Cash Flow Podcast. We have some investors here. Roy here has invested with People's Capital Group for a number of years. Risha here is his wife and partner.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about how they invest with People's Capital Group and just real estate investing in general. So we're going to have some fun today. And remember, guys, peoplescapitalgroup.com is where you can go for more information and learn about what we do. All right. So why did you start investing in real estate, Roy?
Well, Risha and I are looking at our future, and we have investments in the stock market, and 2008 happened to everyone.
Sure.
And we just didn't think it was where we wanted to put our trust, and we believe in real estate. History says real estate is the way to go, and so we decided to start looking for a property. Just like that, let's try to get a property, a rental property, something we can get started with. And so we did. And then we also wanted to educate ourselves, and we started listening to different podcasts or what you're doing here.
Cool.
And then we learned about meetups and things like that. And so we sort of branched out.
Nice. And I think we met at one of my meetups.
Meetups,
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
we started going to meetups and realized, this is a great way to connect with people and learn, because we really just jumped into it, not understanding fully what we're getting to. It was as I'm thinking, we're going to get cash flow and it's going to be passive.
Yeah, we just kind of dove in. We quickly learned it's not passive.
It wasn't passive. It's great, and we still have those properties. But we needed to learn more and faster.
Made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we're better for it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the mistakes is what make you greater. As an investor, as a human being, right? It builds character.
Right.
I remember my pastor once told a story when I was a kid, how he shot the basketball in the wrong hoop and lost the game for his team. And his coach later told him, well, that builds character. So that's a good thing. And he said, that builds character, then I don't want any. So,
really.
There's certainly been days in the real estate field, I'm sure we felt that way. But it is what it is. So that's interesting. So you kind of educated yourself, and a lot of the gurus told you to go buy some multifamily homes. And,
go big, buy more. But it's a lot of work. And Roy has full-time. Well, he's now he has a full-time job, and I'm self-employed.
We've changed over the years. Yeah. It was some transition going on. And so we're always adapting, which you kind of have to do. It's how life goes. So we wanted to educate ourselves, and that's why we wanted to go to meetups. And going to your meetup was a really good education for me. You give a really good presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
And I thought, I like the direction you guys are going. You guys were kind of like where we wanted to be.
Oh, cool.
And that's kind of what led me to invest in you and look further into what you're doing.
Yeah.
And perhaps investing, which I eventually did.
Yeah.
Again, coming to a presentation here with a self-directed, a guy from the self-directed. So I decided to go in that direction, and so
Right. We wanted to get out of the stock market, and so it was like, how do we do that?
And this is truly passive for me. It's I put it up there, and then you get the returns without doing any work.
Yeah, you don't have to manage.
You do that.
Right.
I like that.
Hey, that's passive. It's like, wow, okay, let's do that again.
Yeah. And that's great. So I mean, that's how it works. So the RIAs are amazing. When you can meet people and see what they're doing and see what they're doing with their company, and that's what's it's really cool. I think real estate, when you try to be transparent like that, that's what builds a lot of trust off the bat. And that product of the totally passive position. I did the same thing. I read a bunch of books and from a bunch of gurus who make a ton of money, selling books and CDs and they said, buy a bunch of real estate, right? And manage it yourself or manage a management company and you'll get some nice passive cash. I remember I had my first 5-family and I loaded it up with TRA tenants. TRA tenants have 6-month vouchers. And after that, they have to supposedly have started working or went to school and they get the voucher renewed. But I found that about 4 out of 5 of the TRA tenants I had didn't go and do the next step. And so I had 4 out of 5 evictions in my first 6 months of ownership.
Yeah.
And, the bills came due. And I was like, wow, okay, now I've realized don't work with TRA tenants, just not a great fit for properties, and that I was trying to work with. So, that's another character building lesson right there.
I guess for the listeners, because I don't know what a TRA tenant is, maybe you could explain.
temporary rental assistance is what
Oh, okay.
TRA stands for.
Oh.
So that's different than Section 8.
Completely different. Yes, Section 8 is
Okay.
much better. Section 8, you have a check that comes in every month from the
Right.
government, and it goes on for years and years and years, as long as you pass the annual inspection, right?
Right.
And that could be a pain in the neck a lot of times to pass that, depending on the type of tenant you have as well, so and how many people are living in the unit. But if you have good tenants and the units are not beaten up, then generally you pass the inspection every year. And then the money keeps coming. I mean, Section 8 could be for life. Federal Section 8 is for life. So, that as far as a landlord standpoint, that's a much stronger tenant than a TRA tenant.
Are these immigrants? I mean, so temporary before they get established?
I'm not even sure. I found actually most of them just to be general people below the poverty line coming out of shelters. So
Okay.
TRA is the next step from a shelter.
Gotcha.
So if you're in a shelter,
Right.
whether you're a citizen or immigrant, I think, and I think every city has probably different rules on that, but it can be, you can get TRA pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
The bar to get it, I think, is lower than Section 8. Like, people to get Section 8 have to really, there's much more to go through, much more paperwork, the waiting process. So when it's finally attained, I think it's more valued by the tenant, where TRA is really handed out a little bit more. And it's really just helped people get off their feet. So it's a good thing, it's a really good thing. And it just, as a landlord, you have to understand, if you're going to accept TRA tenants, it's really something you're going to do out of your heart, more so than your wallet. And so it depends, but working with investors, it wasn't the right fit for our buildings. We have to have good long-term leases and good long-term tenants. So I learned that one the hard way for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's, you were saying, helping people get on their feet and stuff. And I think that's another reason why we got into real estate, was because I'm an interior designer by trade, and I mean, that's my business. And I love improving spaces. And it was also exciting to be able to go into a space, and create value to it, to give a beautiful space for, someone to come in and live, and them wanting to be there. So attracting, tenants that want to take care of the space. I mean, that was also a big point for investing.
Yeah, we wanted to add value and really make the tenants enjoy our homes and want to take care of it, because they come into it coming from someplace that maybe wasn't well kept. And when we bought it, it wasn't well managed, it wasn't well kept. And so we put it, gave them personal washers and dryers, for example, gave everybody their own personal parking space, and just nice kitchens and things like that. And we found was tenants really upkept it.
Right.
We would go to do little things and like, wow, this place is really good.
Yeah.
And take care of it. And so that's sort of our approach, and it's worked out for us.
Yeah, well, if you give tenants a good quality of life, a good place to live, then they'll have pride of ownership, and that's exactly, we look for buildings that don't have that are mismanaged, and they're out there. You just have to do the marketing, get in touch with the owner, and convince them to sell to you for a reasonable price. It's not easy. We'll look at 400 deals to do one of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But when you find that diamond in the rough, the tenants are happy that they're willing to pay a little bit more for a better quality of life and
a nicer place to live, and
safer, quieter,
Yeah.
smells better.
Exactly.
The things work consistently. When things break, we get them fixed quickly.
right,
Yes.
great response and stuff like that. So
Right. Yeah, the better you manage the property, the better the tenants you're going to attain, and then the better your property is going to just grow in value over time. And it's kind of like creating a community, really. Especially
it is,
for bigger properties, right?
right, but it also it creates a community, and that just grows from. So not only are you just improving it, improving the building, but you're improving the area around it. You're you're adding a lot of value.
Right. We've gotten good responses from the neighbors. They're friendly, and they want our numbers, and if anything goes wrong, we'll let you know, because they know we don't live there.
Right.
So that's another plus of sort of taking care of your place and making them feel like you're a good owner.
Right.
And they invite you in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was even a case where the neighbors bid on the property we ended up winning. So initially they weren't too happy with us, getting that, but seeing what we were doing and seeing the kind of people we brought in, they really warmed up to us, and we're very, very friendly with them now. So all pluses.
No, that's really like what I love about our job. Buying real estate and figuring out the problems with it. And overall, you're improving a community, improving a neighborhood, and we'll buy buildings with drug dealers in them, and people that are just really bringing down the area and the building. And people will thank us, that have kids and in the building, because moving your family out of a building or trying to find a safer place to live,
Exactly.
especially in a lot of inner city areas, there's not a lot of options.
Right.
If you can't afford, or you're a Section 8 tenant, you can't necessarily move to a fancy place with a Section 8 voucher. So, you're really limited on your options, and you're stuck with buildings that may have drug dealers in them, and that's a dangerous place for kids to live. So it's definitely, a responsibility you have as a landlord to maintain a quality of life, and I think when you do that, hopefully the landlord next to you sees that, and next to you, ideally in a perfect world, we'd like to.
But I think, but it does do that. I mean, like it is, and it is because that's the only thing that really sort of motivates, and you see that development house by house, block by block, because it is a valuable, it's a valuable investment. Not just for the people living there, but for the people who own it.
It's tangible, right?
Yeah.
Like when you buy a stock, you buy some
that's
Ford
it.
stock, whatever. It's a number on a screen. Ford doesn't really make more cars or hire more people because you invested some money. At the end of the day, it does help businesses, but publicly traded businesses, you don't see the tangible effects of it, at all. And it is really nice to be able to say, hey, my IRA is at work in that building, or doing this with or whatever investment you have.
Right. So the investment that Roy has with you is actually a local one in Jersey.
I like that. I can drive up to my investment and say, there it is. I own a percentage of that building.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's right over Berkeley Heights. Yeah,
right
down the street.
Which is tough to do in this state, find those properties.
That's the hardest part of our job, is finding the good deals. When we finally find a good investment opportunity, the money is usually raised pretty quickly. The hardest part is really finding the property, and then we'll talk to owners for years. We'll be in conversation with them, building a relationship, and just like any transaction in business, you have to earn it and earn the person's trust, and then they might give it to someone else too. They might hire the broker down the street. So, it's always a challenge, but it's just, this market especially is super hard to find good deals in, and I think that's one of our biggest challenges now. Risha, I know you're out there kind of looking at deals. Any tips from your end of the business?
Looking at deals, it's just looking at a lot of deals and really, trying to figure out how to make that deal work, because everybody thinks they're sitting on a gold mine. And we were just looking at a deal down near the shore in Neptune, and the current owner is saying, it's making so much cash and it's great. And we're looking at this. I mean, it was dumb. This whole place had to be totally renovated. It needed thousands of dollars of work. And he's like, well, I got solar up there I've put in. And it's God. But the place, you really, we couldn't. It was like being a slumlord. And we, he was asking too much, and we're thinking, we got to put in all this. And there's just no way. It's not worth it. And funny thing was that 6 months later, actually a year later, he has done these mega renovations on it, because
he called us back. He wanted us to go look at it again.
And because he realized, there is just no way. The
problem is now he's going to want a lot more money.
Well, now he wants a lot more money. That's right. But at least what he was asking for before wasn't even, he wasn't even close. At least he's a little closer now.
He's in the same ballpark.
Yeah. You don't have to go and put $150,000 into a $200,000 property.
Right. Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, that one in Berkeley Heights we found was really, I think, a diamond in the rough. It was definitely one of our better deals we've ever found. We knew the owner, who was also a broker, so we would be in touch with him about just listings he had. And then we called him up. Seth will call up brokers and owners just every 4 or 5 months. Hey, how you doing? How things going? We're still, churning and burning here. You got anything good? And he said, yeah, I'm selling my own property. I'm going to list it in a few days, but if we said, hold off, let's come look at it. Let's make you an offer. We went there. We negotiated a little bit over the next week and a half or so. And it was funny because he actually owns his own brokerage, so he has the means to really move this for top dollar.
Yeah.
It appraised for about $2 million. I think we bought it for set 1.7. So we really got good $300,000 off the fair market value off the bat, and then of course it has the zoning change over to fair market housing in 6 years, which is going to be just a phenomenal investment over the next few years with this property. So I think we got a lot of.
Well, I think it's those relationships. It's really the relationship and getting people to want to do business with you. I mean, I just find that in my own business, for my interior design business, that's it. It's getting my clients' trust, and then, even us going out to look at deals, and we're talking to homeowners and et cetera. And a lot of it is that people aren't trusting. They meet us one time, two times, but it's continuing, like every 3 months, call them back up, talk to them again.
Being consistent, kind of proving that, you're for real. Going to that, I mean, talking about relationships, for me, when we got into this initially, I was like, well, let's just go find some properties and invest, and we'll make some money. And
that's what the gurus say, right?
We're still waiting to do that.
Like we'll do it on an island. We'll just do our own thing. But like, going to meetups and meeting people and like building those relationships, I find out how important that is, and like sort of putting your name out there and getting to know who's who, and like I feel a tremendous amount of trust and for your business, for example, and so we have that relationship. And that I learned, and I think there's other people out there who may be listening who may be a little bit like me, who just want to just do their thing and forget about everybody else. But it is all about relationships and connecting with the right people. It's a big help.
Oh, absolutely. You got to like who you do business with. You got to trust them. They have to show you integrity in a couple different ways before, I mean, an IRA is hard-earned money. That's a very important thing. It's a retirement account, and it's so I understand the gravity of working with people's IRAs and just cash, whatever the investment is. Each dollar. I mean, I work very hard for my dollars, as you do as well. Right. So when someone invests in me, because really they're investing in me, they're investing in Seth, People's Capital Group is our company, but it's the person you're investing in. So it's a personal compliment. And the other side of the coin is then when someone doesn't invest in you, it's like a personal hit too, So, but there could be a million reasons.
Yeah, there's always a million reasons. Timing, tons, and that's it's time and circumstance. A week later, circumstance could be totally different. A month later, that's really what it is. It's just time and circumstance, and being, and I think that's part of the building the relationship is just being there at the right time, the right place, and that's kind of like just sort of always being there, top of mind, so that when they make a decision, or when you're looking for that property, and that person, just like the broker that you met, just happened to be thinking, you have that relationship, you've been going on and talking, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you happen to be there at the right time, and you can't just sort of, it's not a flash in the pan, I get there, I'm going to make the deal and get out. It's not that.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, do you guys have any tips or anything you want to throw out there, things you want to let the people know about that are listening to the Passive Cash Flow podcast?
Yeah, educate yourself. There are lots of
oh my gosh,
so many options out there, right? Number one, educate yourself, read books,
podcasts, webinars,
videos,
meetups.
Stuff,
I mean, there's so many. I host a meetup for women who want to invest in real estate, and I have somebody different come up every
She won't let
month.
me come to the meeting. She won't let me come to a meeting.
Well, I'm her winner. I know, right?
Which I can do. I've got a really good Halloween costume.
Yeah, we're
I got the dress.
Right.
I have heels.
Well, now you can get really discounted Halloween costumes. All right,
Yeah,
now's
really.
the time to buy Halloween
Halloween
costumes.
costume, right?
Right.
Well, I'm on Meetup, which is women who want to invest in real estate. That's the Meetup group, although everybody says it's difficult to find. I don't know why. It's down Menlo Park Mall. We're right outside there at Panera Bread every third Wednesday of the month. But maybe, the best way right now is through my interior design business, Walden Interiors, which is walden-interiors.com. Because, it really is everything.
Yeah.
It kind of.
And of course, if you need interior design,
I'm here too.
There you go.
Yes, it comes in handy when you're doing a reno.
Yeah.
You've got her talents. Excellent.
Excellent. Awesome stuff. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching another episode here of the Passive Cash Flow Podcast. Our website is peoplescapitalgroup.com. And as you know, we work with passive investors, and you've met a couple here today. So if you have any questions, go to our website, peoplescapitalgroup.com. Shoot us an email at info@peoplescapitalgroup.com as well. And if you want to come on the podcast, or you're a fellow investor of ours, you work with People's Capital Group, shoot us a line. We'll see if maybe we can get you on the show. Have a good day.